Welcome to the Weekday Report for Friday, January 3rd. I'm Tracy Pelishek. Here's a brief look at the news. It's time to put away the shovel and put on the parka. The Kenosha area woke up to sub-zero temperatures this morning, with the mercury falling as low as 19 below in the western part of the county. Things are expected to get warmer on Saturday with the high reaching 30, but then the next drop-off begins with a low of 16 below on Sunday night and highs of only 7 below on Monday and 2 below on Tuesday. School superintendents west of I-94 plan to meet on Sunday to decide how to proceed Monday. Kenosha Unified's threshold for closing involves sustained wind chills of -34 or less, something that's a real possibility on Monday. An elderly woman who had wandered away from home in the pre-dawn hours of New Year's Day was saved by a newspaper delivery man who found her lying in the snow. Ralph Sesteda was delivering newspapers for the Kenosha News at 4:30 a.m. Wednesday when he heard someone calling for help. Looking around, he found an 86-year-old woman lying next to a tree in the 6100 block of 43rd Avenue. She wasn't wearing a coat, and her gloves were lying next to her in the snow. Sesteta wrapped the woman in his coat and called 911.
She couldn't believe that I was standing there. She was like so happy, and I was even happier to be at the right place at the right time. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened.
She was treated at the hospital for hypothermia and frostbite. Commuters waiting for trains and buses at the Kenosha Metro station are closed out of the recently renovated train station. The station waiting area has been closed since July when the private operator of a restaurant inside went out of business. City transit officials say the waiting room will only be open if a vendor is renting the restaurant space. Although most train stations on the line have waiting areas open for the morning commute, Kenosha Area Transit Director Ron Iwin said the Kenosha station would be too vulnerable to vandalism if open without a restaurant inside. The final remaining horse rescued from poor conditions at a Pleasant Prairie farm last April has finally found a home. Maximus, a pony of the Americas breed, is now a resident of a Yorkville farm run by Pedro and Michelle Rivera, the owners of the Healing Oasis Veterinary Clinic and Training School. After undergoing months of training donated by First Class Horse Complex in Burlington, Maximus will now be used as a training animal for students learning spinal manipulation and massage techniques. Maximus was one of 23 horses seized from Hidden Lake stables. A losing streak continued Thursday night for the Shoreland boys basketball team. Jeff Zampanti has the story.
The Metro Classic Conference schedule remained unkind to the Shoreland boys basketball team in a 53-50 loss against Racine Prairie Thursday night in Summers. The Pacers had 2 opportunities to tie the game in their final 2 possessions, only to fall short for their 4th consecutive defeat. Jeffrey Zampanti, Kenosha News.
What's trending today? At least one car thermometer in western Kenosha County clocked in at -19 degrees this morning. How did yours go? Tell us on our Facebook page. Up next is Kathy Troher with a look at an innovative use for a beer byproduct at a Kenosha brewery.
Of course you'd expect to see beer sold at Rustic Road Brewing Company in Kenosha, but dog treats? Really? They're the brainchild of operations manager and sometimes bartender Sarah Bussell, who makes and sells Brew Bones. She has a culinary arts degree, and she concocted a recipe using spent malted barley as one ingredient. Her 6-year-old Puggle was the first to sample them, and the little guy's been eating about one a day ever since. They're made with eggs, flour, crunchy peanut butter, and the spent grain. Rustic Road gives away the byproduct from the brewing process to anyone who can use it. Every batch of beer they brew yields lots of spent grain, and since they brew 2 to 3 times weekly, they've got plenty of it. Taking it off their hands helps them out and prevents unnecessarily adding to landfills. People can use it for composting, as an ingredient for bread, all sorts of things. Just remember, bring your own containers. For the Kenosha News, I'm Kathy Troher.
Thanks, Kathy. Now here's a look at what we're working on today. Joe Ward is sitting down today for an in-depth interview with Mayor Keith Bosman, and John Kordovich has this week's Sunday Choice feature, a look at graduation and retention rates at UW Parkside. Pick up a copy of the Kenosha News and check kenoshanews.com for all the details on these stories and more. I'm Tracy Pelishek with the Weekday Report.